Hello, grade 4 students! Once again, welcome to the Science Therapy class with Miss Shara. Good morning, grade 4 students. Welcome to our Science Therapy class with Miss Shara. Our work plan for today: do it, say it, discussion, and then we'll have our wrap up. You hit a baseball out of the park and head for the first base. You're excited. The score is now tied. Your team has a chance of getting a winning home run. Then you hear a crash. Oh no! The baseball hit a window in a neighboring house. The glass has a big holes in it, surrounded by a web of cracks. The glass has a change. It has been broken into a jagged pieces, but the glass is still glass. Breaking the window is an example of a physical change in matter. It may also be a bad news when the owner of the house finds out. Today, Scientific presents physical changes of matter. Let me read your learning targets for today. I can describe physical changes in materials. I can identify physical changes in materials. Have you ever tried origami? These are the art of folding paper. So if you can do it, you say it. A physical change in matter is a change in one or more of matter's physical properties. Like glass breaking is just one example of physical change. In each example, matter may look different after the change occurs, but it's still the same. It is still the same substance with the same chemical properties. Look at the first example. Cutting a log into smaller pieces changes its size and shape, but it is still a wood. Braiding hair changes how the strands are arranged but not their properties. It's still hair. Crushing a metal can change its shapes, but the crushed can is still made of metal and has the same properties, such as the ability to conduct heat. Wind-blown sand has worn away this rock to create an arc, but the rock composition has not changed. The bits of rocks worn away by the wind are still the rock or the sand. And look at the chocolate. Crisp squares of chocolate melt into a shapeless puddle in the heat. The puddle tastes yummy because it is still chocolate. Matter is all around us. The desk we sit at, the air we breathe, and the water we drink are all examples of matter. But matter doesn't always stay the same. It can change in many different ways. In this lesson, we are going to take a closer look at physical changes that occurs in matter. Matter can be changed in many ways without changing its composition. This is called physical change in matter. It happens when a substance changes in appearance or state without changing what it is made of. You may cut, bend, break, grind, split, crack, or crush a material, but the material remains the same. Salt or sugar dissolves in water, but the salt, the sugar, and water remain the same materials. The particles of salt and sugar may appear to change in this mixture, but the identity of each matter is not changed. Chemical change does not involve a chemical reaction. Did you know that a change in the temperature of air in a hot air balloon affects how high or low it flies? The heated air inside the balloon makes it buoyant since it has lower density than the air outside it. To make the balloon fly higher, more hot air must be blown into it. To make it fly lower, the hot air inside it must be lessened. This is one sign of the changes in materials. Okay? What are some factors that cause changes in materials? Absence or presence of heat. Heat and temperature are related, but they are not the same. Heat is a form of energy, while temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness of a material. The temperature of an object has something to do with the amount of heat it has. The state of matter can change with the presence or absence of heat. Phase changes occur when a substance transforms from a solid, liquid, or gas into a different phase or state. All substances change phases depending upon temperature and pressure. Each substance has unique intermolecular forces, and these influence the temperature and pressure at which substances will change their state. When a substance does change, two phases exist at the same time. As the transition occurs, there are 6 categories of phase change, each being reversible. These are evaporation, condensation, melting, freezing, deposition, and sublimation. What is evaporation? Evaporation happens when a liquid substance becomes a gas. When water is heated, it evaporates. The molecules move and vibrate so quickly that they escape into the atmosphere as molecules or water vapor. Evaporation is a very important part of the water cycle. Heat from the sun or solar energy powers the evaporation process. It soaks up moisture from soil in a garden, as well as the biggest oceans and lakes. The water level will decrease as it is exposed to the heat of the sun. Although the level of the lake, pool, or glass of water will decrease due to evaporation, the escaped water molecules don't disappear. They stay in the atmosphere, affecting humidity or the amount of moisture in the air. Areas with high temperatures and large bodies of water, such as tropical islands and swamps, are usually very humid for this reason. Water is evaporating but staying in the air as a vapor. As you can see in the picture, these are examples of evaporation. Condensation is the process where water vapor becomes liquid. It is the reverse of evaporation, where liquid water becomes a vapor. Condensation happens one of two ways. Either the air is cooled to its dew point or it becomes so saturated with water vapor that it cannot hold any more water. Condensation can also produce water droplets on the outside of soda cans or glasses of cold water. When a warm air hits the cold surface, it reaches its dew point and condenses. This leaves droplets of water on the glass or can. What is dew point? Dew point is the temperature at which condensation happens. Dew is simply condensed water in the atmosphere. Air temperature can reach or fall below the dew point naturally, as they often do at night. That's why lawns, cars, and houses are often coated with water droplets in the morning. Condensation occurs when warm air collides with cold surfaces, or when there's too much humidity in your home. While condensation is rarely a problem in the summer, the amount of water in the air, otherwise known as the humidity, inside our homes is higher during the colder months. When energy is added in the form of heat, the water molecules begin to get excited and move around. As more and more heat is added, the molecules move faster and faster, causing the structure of the molecules to loosen. You see, this in the form of solid, ice turning to liquid water, or what we know as melting. In January 2016, Stephen M. Lee was finishing a season of studying penguin colonies living near Sushel Station, an Italian base in Antarctica. Melting ice reveals mummified penguins in Antarctica. Birds that appeared freshly dead near an Italian research base turned out to be centuries old. Wow, that's amazing. These are examples of melting. Melting ice cream, melting chocolate, melting butter. Then we have here the gold melting. We also have, look at this, the house of the polar bear is melting. And, oh, the earth is melting too. If the discovery of penguin centuries old is good, it's an amazing fact, but ice melting at an unprecedented rate, causing vast quantities of ice to disappear and global sea level to rise. What will happen? The water and ice from this faraway ice sheet will someday drown cities and towns around the world long before it reaches any worst case scenario in the distant future. We need to do something about it. We need to take care of our environment. Freezing is a phase transition where a liquid turns into a solid when its temperature is lowered below its freezing point. In accordance with the internationally established definition, freezing means the solidification phase change of a liquid, or the liquid content of a substance, usually due to cooling. So simply, the substance changes from a liquid to a solid. Sublimation. Sublimation is the conversion between the solid and the gaseous phases of matter, with no intermediate liquid stage. For those of us interested in the water cycle, sublimation is most often used to describe the process of snow and ice changing into water vapor in the air without first melting into water. So these are examples of sublimation. A solid to a gas without going through the liquid phase. Well, look at that. The mothballs and the pine. Okay, air freshener. Look at this one. This one is the dry ice. So these are all sublimations. The opposite of sublimation is deposition, where water vapor changes directly into ice. One example of deposition is the process by which, in sub-freezing air, water vapor changes directly to ice without first becoming a liquid. This is how frost and hoar frost form on the ground or other surfaces. Another example is when frost forms on a leaf. For deposition to occur, thermal energy must be removed from a gas. When the air becomes cold enough, water vapor in the air surrounding the leaf loses enough thermal energy to change into a solid. So deposition, the substance changes directly from a gas to a solid without going through the liquid phase. In conclusion, okay, phase changes involves three states of matter: gas, solid, and liquid. So melting, evaporation, and sublimation, the substances absorb energy from the surroundings, which enables the change to occur. Energy goes into or enters the substance, therefore the surroundings are cooled. Freezing, condensation, and depositions, the substance releases energy into the surroundings, enabling the change to occur. Energy goes out of or exits the substance, therefore the surroundings are heated, just like in aircon, no? When it's when it's cooling the inside of our house or our room, it releases heat outside. Okay, so these are all phase changes or physical changes. Physical changes does not alter the property of the substance or the materials. It's just change states or physical properties. That is another scientific class with Miss Shara. Thank you everyone and have a scientific day. I love you. Goodbye.